Hey guys, Jim Bounds at Motorhome Rehab Ranch, and we are on, I think, episode 4, really into these headliners. And I wanted to stop for a sec. I want to talk about something here. It's kind of important because I'm showing you guys what? I'm showing you guys how I put a headliner in. And I'm also showing you what I learned from the mistakes that I made over the years of getting to this point. Okay? Now, you can do that's the great thing about America. You can do it any way you want, and we don't have to kill each other. All right? We don't have to say, oh, he stinks. Oh, his way is terrible. You ought to make him go away. Guys, we live in America. If you don't want to do your headliner the way I'm doing it here, and you do it another way, and it's happy with you, that does not mean that this is not good, and what you do is the only way. It drives me crazy when I see somebody go up and come up with something and immediately say everybody should do it the way they do, and to close your mind. Now, I'm not telling you to do everything the way I am, but I'm telling you, don't close your mind. Look at how I'm doing this stuff. Add to it if you want to, but don't call what you're doing the best way and that my way is no good. Okay? Don't do that. We're learning. All right? Let me give you an example. Nice and solid. A great substrate. It's wood. It's 1/8-inch plywood. It has the tensile strength, okay, to give you the corners. All right? Now, oh, I don't want to use wood. I want to use some new space-age material that's waterproof. It'll go to 30,000 feet. No, you don't. This is a motorhome, guys. And if you've done the job right to keep it where it doesn't leak, then there isn't a problem. And even if there is a problem, the sucker has been here for 50 years with all the stuff that it had. And you thought enough of it to buy it. Plastic, ABS plastic, does not have this tensile strength. It does not. Okay? And when it gets hot, it starts to droop. Now, you look at some guy online and says, oh, I put plastic in, it's wonderful. Do you think he's going to tell you it's not wonderful? When he spent all the time and money and he's got it in, and it does work. But the thing is this, if I left this in here with no cabinets, nothing else holding it, because this is going to hold it up a little bit. Actually, this is what held up the original headliner, right? But if I'm not going to put anything in here, and I make it out of ABS plastic, it will not be solid like this. And when it gets hot, it will start to do this because it does not have the strength to stay straight. Okay? Just doesn't. A second point, and I want to put this in a video because guys, this is a hard surface. This is a hard surface. If the entire interior had hard surfaces in it, it would kind of sound like this in there because everything would be vibrating on everything else. You don't want that. Okay? The plastic is hard and it will vibrate, it will amplify sounds. Now, I know it's a new material and plastic is everything. I think we're going to find out that plastic is like the Romans' lead. Okay, all right. I'm not saying don't use it because it's not sustainable. I'm not saying don't use this because it's part of the rainforest. I'm telling you that in this application, and I've tried it all, 1/8" plywood, whether it's Luan, Meranti, spruce, doesn't really matter. If it's a BC 1/8" 3-ply plywood, it works best in this application. Now, if you want to do something else, wonderful. Go for it. And that's what it's about. Oh, I think I can use recycled corn husks. Well, great. Do it. And if it works out, I'm happy for you. But don't down what I'm doing. Okay? Oh, mine's better. There's a lot of levels. And the guys right now that are saying that I want to get into more work and stop talking, they're going, oh my God, is he ever going to be quiet? Sometimes, gentlemen, we need to talk about some things because on the internet, on the social networking, there is so much garbage out there. There are people out there, I call them greyhounds running for the rabbit. They want you to believe everything that they did is perfect, great, awesome, and that you should do it the same way they do. What is that about? And if anybody else wants to do something other than what they say, oh, that guy's terrible. That guy's evil, weak, and mean and nasty. It's the reason we're here now. Because I don't want to hear all that stuff. I don't care anything about it. You shouldn't care about it. And if you see that stuff, you should just go away from it. Or if you really feel inclined, you ought to say something against it. Because it's poisoning our community. Right? Whoa, soapbox. 1/8" plywood. Because the glue likes it, so whatever substrate you put on it will stay. Okay? It can get wet. It can dry out. And since we're going to have an insulation layer, bubble foil layer on top of it, that's another one. I was telling you guys about putting some insulation layer and about how to put a unbroken reflective layer, on top of your material. And some dude came on social network and said, that stuff doesn't do anything. I don't care. I don't care what you think. I don't. And if you want to do it another way, dig it. I'm all over it. Great. Do not, though, take somebody else's idea and say it's garbage. One, it's rude. And two, they might know more than you. Anybody that says they know everything about anything is automatically a fool. Are you a fool? This headliner panel, I've made a few of them. I'm getting ready to cover. Now, what's our steps? Measure, cut, fit, cover, and install. All right. I have measured. I have cut. I fitted it. I had to put the old bunk hook. In 73, you guys have late models. You've got a hole here and there's a hook up in there and you kind of hook it. Well, in 73, in the early models, they actually had this thing hanging down. I'm sure for somebody that is tall enough to hit that, they hated that thing. I got rid of the bunk. I don't use this. But I can hang things from it. Baskets. Actually, I've got a little chain basket that hangs down. I can put it on the front one when we want to have this all open. I can put it here when I want to have all this open. So these are kind of nice. So if you have the bunks, even if you have the old style, you may want to keep them. They're not bad, all right? Now, as we talked before, we made 1/4-inch aluminum H mold, and I bent it by hand into the shape we want. Now you say, well, how do you bend it? Well, take it to a table and go about 6 inches in. Put your hand down and push as you slowly pull up. Now be real careful. Don't pull too hard because it'll pinch in one spot. All you want to do is to get it to bend a little bit. Now, when you do get it bent up into place, or get it bent enough to fit up in here, okay, you can go over here to the corner and resize it a little bit, pushing on the original arch. Push it up in there. All right, now this piece right here, the number, length of this, I wrote it down before. The length of this is 71 1/4. Now, you don't want to make it tight. 71 is fine. Because what you're going to do is it's going to be up in here. It's going to push against here. It's going to come across, and your 1/8-inch plywood hooks into it. It's locked in. It's a section. This section will be locked in. Now, let's see. How many of these do we need? To do from the door forward, which is the living area, we need 1, 2, 3, and then I've got a new one for the end. It's got a U shape. I'll show it to you. So we need 3. I'm going to do some stuff here in the middle. This old piece, this genuine faux gator here. I'm going to make this. I'm going to repurpose this and put it right in the middle. I'm going to do a few things like that. So as I upholster everything and get the finished cut, just keep watching. Before I talked about using that new plastic mold, it didn't work. Okay, you need to have a solid piece all the way across from here to here, and it also gives you a spot to rivet each spot that a vertical bar, I mean a front to back aluminum part goes through. You put a rivet into this H mold. Now this H mold has a groove just outside where it'll give your self-tapping screw a spot to bite. Okay, so everywhere that there's an aluminum member crossing this, you put a rivet. What does that do? That keeps that thing absolutely solid. All right. Now I've made this fit. The second piece is 24 inches. All right. This is 24 inches. That's half of a 4x8 sheet. I cut this out big enough that it could move forward, because after fitting, there we go, I'm going to have to cover and then put it back in. But I know now that I've fitted it, I know that it will go back in. Now, the number side to side in the last video, very important number. Why? Watch. It fits in there perfect. Also, the ABS won't do that. I'm sorry. So what I'm going to do here, I've got this piece fitted. I've got these two pieces I need to cut and cover. And I've got one more piece up here fitted with its own bar. I know how far it was from here to here, which is how much I need to cut those other pieces. Also, in the front, as you can see here, let me move up a little bit here. This is real early this morning. My camera gal is still in bed. This is your plastic headliner panel. It comes all the way to here, and there's a gap here. Now remember before, I was using this. It was real simple and easy. I'm going to do something a little bit cooler. I've got a new piece of U mold that's going to go right here. So that'll end it real clean right into the front. The indent right here that's here for the original cross curtain, I'm going to cover that. I don't use a cross curtain. It's okay with me. All right. Maybe I should. Maybe I will cut it. I'll cut it short and I'll leave the cross. I could do that. Yeah, let's do that. We'll see. But anyway, on this headliner panel, on the last panel, not only do you need to cut out for the bunk bracket, whichever type you have, you also need to cut up here. I cut 1 inch or 1 1/8 maybe up here, rounded here to go around this headliner piece, this plastic panel. I want to leave that there. So you cut a piece out here. So what's it look like? It looks like this. See, a little cutout right here. The rest of it, though, is a 24-inch panel cut to length. Now, I've had a couple of comments, and I want to cover those right now. Some people say, well, if you go from cabinet to cabinet, you can put one piece and put it right up in there and put some trim. It's very true. You can do that. Okay? The problem that you have with that is you're assuming you're going to keep all of your cabinets, and the cabinets will always stay there, and you will never have to take them down, because if you do, you're going to have a mess. All right? You could make it look real good. If you don't want to go through all the hassle of pulling down cabinets and all the stuff you're following, you go, man, I just want to have a headliner. You can do that. Take your Olfa knife. Make sure your cabinets are in good shape. Foof them up from the outside. Leave them there. Take your Olfa knife and cut out the headliner in the middle. Where the cross members are, cut those out. Take them out. Take them out. Remember, your cabinets are still up. Then cut a piece of 1/8 inch cabinet grade Luan. One piece to go right in the place of that. And you're going to use a quarter mold in each one of the corners right in front of the cabinet, because wherever you have, does your panel go this way or this way? That's your question. Is it this way or this way? I'll give you an example. Had a guy call me. We're talking about he's doing his interior, and he's building his bulkhead walls first. Well, okay, but take a look here. You see how the bulkhead right here comes to the wall, but the wall is behind it. You follow? Now, if it was the other way around, where this wall went all the way here, you would have to end this panel. You'd have to end it and then put a piece of trim, because that edge would not be the same as this edge. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm telling you that if you want to do it anyway, you can do it any way you want. But if you want to do what I'm doing, you need to build the walls first, and then build the interior bulkhead wall to it. Okay? In that case, because the edge is not just an edge this way, it's an edge this way. I may not have to put a piece of trim there. It may look just fine, because I can contour that edge to fit perfect. Make sense? I can contour that bulkhead wall to fit the curvature of that wall perfectly, and I won't have to put a piece of trim in it. Make sense? So I give the guy full credit. He's in there, he's doing his thing, and he's putting his interior in, but you need to do the right steps and stages. You need to do the walls, you need to do the headliner, and then you do the bulkhead walls, if you're doing it this way. If you're doing it that way, cool. Again, if you do it that way and it works out great, awesome. Don't tell everybody that yours the only way to do it, because I'm not. Okay. These things are really important. When you're watching a how-to thing, when it's over, you think about, what does that mean to me? What's the idea I'm going to do, and how does it fit what I just saw? Well, that's healthy. It's good. But remember this: you're doing it like I did for the first time many times ago, and I learned the first time, didn't work. At Clasco, we were covering those front panels with automotive headliner material. You know, the foam back stuff, real stretchy. Fits in there real nice, clean it up, you put it in. Woo, looks good. But that stuff, as you stretch it, it was given stress and it'll eventually come back. It'll release. 3, 4, 5 years. Then when you have to take it off, oh, you guys that have one of those coaches that have headliner cloth automotive headliner material up there absolutely know what I'm talking about. You got a mess to clean up, right? So I learned up here to texture coat, to dye, to paint. Now, I put vinyl on mine. How did I do that? I stretched the crap out of it. I don't necessarily recommend that for other people, but I want to do something different. So I'm not telling you to do that. But if you want to, go for it. This is something that I would recommend that you could do. You could make a change there, right? It's just like these walls. I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but when you look at it straight on like this, it has kind of a maroon look, this material here. Then when you look at it over here, it has more of a black color to it. Whatever, right? Somebody says, well, I'm not going to put that on there. That's cloth. It soaks up, smells. It does. It's hard to clean. It is. So I wanted to put it in there, and I did. So I'm recommending for you guys, don't just do what I'm doing. But don't do anything you want to do. Watch what's going on here and relate that to some ideas that you're thinking about. Okay? That's how you learn. That's how you come up with something new. That's how you learn from other people's experience / mistakes. I saw a t-shirt last night. It said, I'm a winner. I either win or I learn. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. You either do well or you learn why it didn't go well and you do better. Right? So that's what this is all about, showing you how to do this. Here's another one of these panels. Another H mold. Now this one, I've been a little bit aggressive. You can see right there. Got a little bit too much. So I'll put this one in the back corner where you don't see it. Actually, the cabinet will cover part of those. And again, a lot of people say, well, the cabinet is going to cover all that stuff. Or in the case of the Royales, it has a fiber back panel. So you never even see the original headliner panel. Okay? So, well, why can't I just do it another way and not do all this stuff that I'm doing? Yes, brother. Yes. Yes, you can. You can do that. But understand what you're going to have when you're done. All right? I'm not recommending everybody to do this. In fact, until we did this, I started the series, I had covered an original headliner panel. Why? Because I was happy with it. It looked okay. You know, you guys wanted me to show you how to do this. Well, here's how to do it. This way. All right, look, we've gone a little bit over time here. Next video, I'm going to take these out. I'm going to cover them, and you and I'll put them in. Thanks for your time. If this was any valuable, please hit like and all that. And guys, really, give me some comments. You know, and if you do have questions, like Rick said, well, what about the plastic? Awesome, man. Please ask those questions. That's why I've spent an inordinate amount of time talking about plastic, because Rick asked me about that. And I think it's a good question, and I want to cover it with all you guys. All right. Well, look, thanks, everybody. Ranch hands in the database. Talk to you later.